Hey everyone, it's Catherine with Colorado Yard Care, and today I wanted to show you a garden that I worked on by helping to pick out the plant palette and just show you what's working, what's not working very well, so that maybe you can use some of these ideas for your own yard and choose some really great plants that will live for a long time and create lots of beauty for you. All right, so here is the garden, and you can see that this is actually a public landscape, and it is enclosed kind of by building on three sides. We have a tall building right here, and then we've got these concrete planters that are about 3 feet tall, and then we've got building over here. And so this particular garden is going to experience shade in the morning, blazing hot sun and reflected heat during the middle of the day, and then as you can see, shade in the evening. So what we wanted to do was choose a plant palette that could withstand kind of part shade and still give some nice color and some nice texture. We also had these window frames over here that had these burgundy tone, and so we chose some shrubs that had a nice burgundy tone to the leaves as well. So let's kind of work through the plants. So here we have this variegated iris, and it's variegated because it's got this white striping on the leaves, which kind of gives it a unique characteristic compared to normal irises. And earlier in the summer, kind of in May, it was having these beautiful purple flowers that have kind of a beautiful grape scent to it. And so you're getting some fragrance from these plants. So when the gardeners come through, they'll cut off all the spent flower stalks, but you'll still get this nice highlight from the white striping on the leaves. So that's one trick that you can use as you're designing your garden, is using plants that have different colored leaves to create color in the garden besides just using flowers. So that's really nice. Another plant that we use in this garden is this plant right here, which is bloody Cranesbill or perennial geranium. You can see it's got this nice mound of kind of beautiful green leaves that creates this beautiful sphere, and then it gets covered with these magenta flowers in June. So very beautiful plant, and is perfect in part shade. So we have a few of these planted up against the front of this garden, and you can see they're just starting to go out of bloom right now, but even when they're out of bloom, they're still really beautiful as well because of the pretty leaves. In contrast, we have this ornamental grass right here. This is undaunted ruby muley grass. This is a plant select plant, and you can see right now it's pretty much just growing as a mound of feathery green leaves, but in the fall it's going to be covered with these beautiful pink seed heads, and you can see right here them just starting to form. The grass is beginning to flower, and then it will just be this airy, beautiful mound of gorgeous kind of burgundy pink seed heads that creates all sorts of beautiful interest in the fall. In this area we have a nice evergreen, which you always need in a Colorado landscape because we have a long brown season. So this particular evergreen is hillside creeper, which it'll end up spreading to be maybe 6 to 8 feet wide and stays pretty low. And we needed to keep things low in this garden because we have these windows right here that we didn't want to block the view. So that's a great evergreen, takes up some space as an alternative to ground covered junipers, and is doing really well in this location. You can see how vigorous it is. Now our shrubs, we have Carol MacKay Daphne, which is this particular shrub right here. Beautiful globe shape and a nice white edging, kind of a gold edging on the leaf, and beautiful pink flowers in April that are very fragrant. So this particular plant is doing really well in this part shade environment, which just makes me think it might be a great addition for urban landscapes in Colorado, because look how vigorous these Daphnes are. This is pretty awesome. You can see that beautiful yellow highlight on the outside of the leaves, which gives this plant just another point of interest to make it a really attractive plant. But when it's in bloom, it is really stunning. In addition, back here we have, see right over here, let's go down this way. We used orange rocket barberry. This is our burgundy leaved shrub right here. Really nice one. It's kind of upright. What I love about this is rather than just being kind of a dark burgundy like many of the other barberries, it's got this sort of lime green center of leaves, and then they turn into a really vibrant orange burgundy tone on the exterior. So these plants seem to be really thriving in this area. They might benefit from a little pruning just to tidy up their shapes, but they seem quite content, and once again creating a really nice contrast of the green foliage with this burgundy that really echoes what's in the windows. Now over here we have Denver Gold columbine, which is a fantastic columbine. I know people in Colorado love to have columbines in their garden, but the blue and white columbine really does better in more moist locations. So this particular columbine does really great in hot, dry locations and even does well in part shade. So you get the benefit of having a beautiful columbine plant. And this will rebloom a little bit if you deadhead the spent flowers. But you can see these are in full bloom right now and really creating a beautiful set of flowers in this garden. So I really love the addition of that Denver Gold columbine in this particular landscape. Now I will say that when they're out of bloom, they will really benefit in appearance to have the old flower stalks cut off just to tidy up the plant. And sometimes the leaves can get a little brown in midsummer, so if they do, you can cut those off and it'll get another flush of leaves later in the year. So Denver Gold columbine, something to look up. Okay, and then over here we have another plant. This is called Korean feathery grass. It is one ornamental grass that does pretty well in part shade. Now these particular plants haven't started to flower yet, but when they do, they create these beautiful feathery plumes that just are gorgeous throughout the later summer and into fall. So even though the leaves don't look that great right now, give this plant a chance because the plumes are certainly worth it. Now back in this area we do have some wood mulch. That's what we used. And we also put in a really pretty extensive drip line. So this doesn't get overhead spray at all. It's all watered with Netafim Tech line, and you can see some of the supply line of the drip irrigation right there. So no overhead watering on these plants. The one plant I will say that didn't really do all that well in this location was we tried some Shenandoah switchgrass because we wanted that burgundy tone to the leaves. We thought that would be a really good addition to this landscape, but you can see they're not doing well at all. So we have one that didn't do well, another one that didn't do well, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are really not thriving. So we tried it because we wanted that taller grass with the burgundy edging on the leaves, and this is a particular plant that probably needs to be replaced in this landscape. But I will point out that these orange rocket barberries way over here, even though it's kind of a part shade location, they seem to be doing okay. They're leaning a little bit towards the sunlight, but that's okay because very few people are going to see them from that backside. So I wouldn't really worry about that at this point. So just wanted to show you this garden that I think is actually doing fairly well. This is, I think it's 3rd year after being planted. Hopefully that gives you a few ideas of something you might be able to use in your own landscape or a landscape that you're designing for. The last thing I will mention over here is we did have a fall blooming aster right here. It doesn't seem to be really thriving. We still have a patch, but you know, I don't know that this is going to be a showcase of this particular landscape. So maybe the fall blooming aster will be nice if it comes up in flowers. There's another one right back there, but is not really the star of the show here. So with that, just want to make sure that you all get the chance to learn to choose really great plants for your Colorado landscape. Plant selection is such a key part of successful gardening here in the Intermountain West. You got to choose plants that are resilient, that have beautiful aesthetic qualities, great texture, great color, and can withstand all the conditions. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.